South African morning. Now, legal action is being taken against several car dealerships and 4 major banks over panel vans that have been converted into taxis. They were actually intended to carry 3 people, but were allegedly then rebuilt to ferry 16 passengers. The public protector found the taxis were unsafe, and it's believed they've been involved in no less than 160 road accidents, resulting in the death of around 350 people. So for more on this, we're now joined by litigation specialist Zain Lundell to actually give us the merits of this case and take us through exactly what the problem is here. Zain, good to have you, and thank you so much for your time this morning. I mean, this is quite tragic. If indeed the merits of this case are anything to go by, hearing about the loss of lives in their hundreds due to these cheap makeshift sort of taxis, then there's a problem here. Give us the merits of the case, please.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for having me, and morning to your listeners. In a nutshell, what happened is that there was a gentleman working at ABSA Vehicle Finance, and his name is Henny de Beer. He caught on to the fact that many of these panel vans were being converted into 16-seater and 14-seater taxis, and then being sold off as legitimate taxis when in fact they were not. Now, the importance of the difference between a real taxi and a panel van is that real taxis are constructed in a manner that ensures the safety of passengers in the back. So they come built in with a whole bunch of safety features. For example, roll bars, or the back of the vehicle is reinforced to ensure that in the event of a collision, the occupants in the back of the taxi are kept safe. Now, panel vans are not constructed in that manner at all. Panel vans really are meant to have 3 occupants in the front of the vehicle, and the back of the vehicle is really just basically nothing short of a tin can. Cargo is supposed to be kept in the back of a panel van, and so it's certainly not safe for passengers to be seated in the back of a panel van.
Right.
So what happened was these panel vans started being converted into taxis, and the reason for that is that there was a shortage of real taxis, and there was a very high demand for these taxis. So what the Toyota dealerships and certain other dealerships that Toyota was selling panel vans to, what they realized they could do was they could just basically get people to drill in seats into the back of these panel vans, and then sell them, unscrupulously sell them to individuals who came to purchase taxis, and basically represent that they were real taxis when they were not.
And obviously these were unsuspecting, purchasers and consumers and buyers of these taxis. But obviously this has proven to be very dangerous. Take me through some of the dangers that we've seen on our roads, which are believed to have come from these, of course, makeshift taxis.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're certainly dangerous. And then the first thing you mentioned, and I think this is something that really needs to be made clear, is that these were unsuspecting individuals that were sold these taxis. One of the important things we kind of looked at before taking on this case was, well, were the owners of these taxis aware that these panel vans converted into taxis, were they aware that they were not real taxis? And that's certainly the case. We have many, dozens of examples of individuals who, when they realized that these taxis were fake, tried to return them to the dealerships and contacted their banks, requesting that the banks, step in to ensure that either the contracts were cancelled, or that the vehicles were returned and a real taxi was provided to these taxi owners. And in all of these cases, the banks and the dealerships firstly denied that these were fake taxis when they were very easily identifiable as fake taxis. And to add flame to the fire or fuel to the fire is that they actually tried to then collect against these taxi owners, because these taxi owners stopped paying their monthly premiums or their monthly installment. because they were sold something that they didn't realize what they were being sold, which was really a fake taxi. They thought they had been sold real taxis.
Right.
Yeah.
If I could just get in there then, Zain, I mean, we know that the application obviously has been served yesterday to defendants who amount to no less than 74, just in terms of that number. What do they face, just in terms of the law? What consequences do they face at this point?
Yeah, so this is a claim for civil damages. This is not a criminal matter.
Okay.
A criminal matter is for the state to generally speaking, for the state to get involved with. Our claim is a claim for these individuals who purchased these fake taxis. In many cases, these taxis were then impounded or taken off the road by traffic officers or the relevant authorities. And really, these taxi owners were deprived of an income. And not only that, they were sold these taxis at massively inflated prices, these fake taxis at massively inflated prices. So, generally speaking, and I'm just ballparking figures here, these are not actual figures, but, panel vans were going for about 240,000 Rand a panel van. Real taxis were being sold for about 400,000 Rand, 380,000 Rand for a real taxi. And so what happened is that these dealers really sold these vehicles as if they were actually real taxis. So they sold them for the price that you would get a real taxi for. So in effect, what they did is that they made this massive profit off of selling, fake taxis and lying, literally lying to these individuals that purchased these taxis.
Right.
So this claim is a claim for civil damages to recover losses that these taxi owners have suffered.
But also, we can't ignore the fact that there were lives lost here. And if indeed former Absa banker Henny de Beer's evidence is to go by, I mean, research indicating that around 350 deaths were recorded from these particular panel vans, resulting in 2.4 people being killed in each such accident, surely then somebody needs to be held liable there. So are you saying that that's for the state to pursue?
Yeah, that is for the state to pursue. Those individuals may also be entitled to damages, civil damages, those injured individuals, and also people who have unfortunately passed away in these fake taxis. There's a law firm working on that case, Richard Spoor Attorneys. It's a law firm that we work closely with on a number of other cases, and they would be able to speak, to that in more detail.
Oh, Zain, I appreciate you, of course, speaking to us this morning and bringing this issue this morning to us and highlighting it. Zain Lundell, of course, is a litigation specialist. We understand that he's, of course, representing pro-forma applicants, Peter Mushala and Moses Nkosi, both represented by him in this particular case. The application, which was issued yesterday, is being served on no less than 74 defendants, and a civil, of course, case will be then open against them.